What is up, guys? This is the Wrestling for Life Network, and this is another live stream. We are here for TNA Impact tonight. It is the fallout from Against All Odds from last Friday. A lot going down. A number one contendership match is happening tonight. I'm excited, so we'll get all into it. Like I said, this is the Wrestling for Life Network, and this is another live stream here for TNA Impact tonight. But I am not alone. That is Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world. The man who puts the T in TNA, Ringsider Anthony. I am Big Nick, and yes, it's time for everyone's weekly dose of everyone's favorite non-alcoholic beverage, Trick NA. How are you feeling, sir, coming out of Against All Odds? Now that we've got Trick kind of paired up with the First Class, I kind of like that trio.
Yeah, I like Trick paired with First Class. Right now, First Class is on my radar because, you know, they came and attacked Mike Santana a couple of weeks ago on NXT. But I like this. I like how they're building around this. I like how they're making Steve Maclin like the true champion in TNA with the World Championship basically in WWE possession. So I really like how they're playing it off. But, you know, this has been fun right now with First Class and Trick Williams. And I hope they continue it for a couple of more weeks here.
Yeah, I like that Trick's really kind of become like TNA talent. Like he's not still featured every week on NXT and all of that. Like he's now weekly on TNA. He's actually involved and kind of over on the program.
Yeah, he's really like, they even have him on the TNA profile page, you know, as like an active wrestler. So yeah, this is really cool that he's on TNA almost every week.
Right. But real quick, we have KJ from the Great Beyond popping in with breaking news. Big Nick is joining American Gladiators. It seems like everyone's joining American Gladiators, my guy. Wardlow is going to be there. Boogs is going to be there.
Really?
Yeah. I know he sent it over. I can't remember the full list, but I'm still surprised. Like Wardlow, active AEW superstar, going to be on that with hosted by The Miz, current WWE superstar. We're getting the Forbidden Door open through Gladiators.
That is true. I mean, is he really an active superstar? He might have signed that NDA and he hasn't been removed just yet. But no, you're right. He is technically an active WWE, AEW superstar. So yeah, this is really interesting. I knew about Boogs or Boggs or whatever, however you pronounce his name, but I did not know about Wardlow.
Yeah, and I think there's Jesse something or other. Jesse Goodard, former TNA talent, to tie it back into TNA, is also going to be on there as well.
Sounds like this has become American Wrestling Gladiators. That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, you need some beefy bodies and everything like that, my guy, who know how to throw some people around. But speaking of throwing people around, should we say hi to the people?
Absolutely.
As we got about 11 minutes before the show kicks off. The name popped up last night. I'm sure it's probably an account that just popped up 2 minutes ago. But I love the name of Reginald Val Johnson. So official.
What's up?
Eric, hey, Wrestling for Life buddy. It's a great night ahead for TNA as the road to Slammiversary begins. Is there anything between then?
No, there's not anything between then. So tonight basically is the fallout from Against All Odds in the beginning of the Slammiversary build. Absolutely.
How do you feel about Against All Odds and everything? Obviously, we were here. We didn't fully see it through live and everything, but how do you feel coming out of that?
Against All Odds was way better than Under Siege. We all know Under Siege card wasn't looking great. They had some potential good matches on that show, but Against All Odds mopped the floor with Under Siege. I was happy. I think I gave the show a 9 because I was literally on the edge of my seat. The only match that was, you know, a downer, I shouldn't say a downer, we knew it wasn't going to be anything of matter, was Santino Marella versus Robbie Stone or Robert Stone. And like they had the comedic moments and the big moments, but outside of that, I think that's what people were looking forward to. But I mean, I can't speak for the crowd because the crowd was on their feet the the entire time for that match, which was wild. But I mean, I loved Against All Odds.
If there's anything we learned from this weekend, it's wrestling fans love reptiles, and you can't mess with the Cobra.
That is true.
One, and now we've got the originator of the Cobra.
That is true. Yeah. We know that they love their reptiles this week.
Right? Well, he might be moving up to the main roster, but we know Santino's going to kick off TNA tonight.
Yes, that is true.
JV, what up? What up? Damien, looking forward to the 841 match. Do you want to quickly explain to those who might be uninitiated or inebriated what the 841 match is?
Yeah, this is actually like one of my favorite matches. There's only been 2 so far from me, but the 841 match starts off as, in tonight's case, will be a 8 knockouts tag team match. The winning team of that 8 knockouts tag team match will immediately compete in a regular 2-on-2 tag team match. The winning team from that 2-on-2 tag team match will then compete in a singles match, and then the winner, which is the one, will become the number 1 contender to the TNA Knockouts World Championship.
So it's a reverse nesting doll there. We got you.
In a way.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. I almost want to ask who you think's going to win, but we can maybe get there when we get to the match. I mean, Killer Kelly just showed up, and I believe she showed up at Against All Odds right there. So she might be in my kind of odds-on favorite of just shows up in a Masha situation, former tag partner. I'm just saying.
No, I was kind of thinking the same thing, and maybe they pushed that match for Slammiversary, Killer Kelly versus Masha. I don't know. And then maybe down the line they do something else. But if you're talking odds on favorite at the moment, I think it is Killer Kelly, to be honest.
I didn't even think about, I was short-sighted out here thinking that they'll just do it, next week or something, not thinking they'll just wait and hold that off till Slammiversary.
Yeah, it definitely, if they're going to build something, and we're roughly a month-ish out, I think they don't need to run this on a weekly show. They got to have it at Slammiversary to build it correctly.
Fair enough. Could it be she's challenger for a whole month? That feels long, though. That feels long.
That does feel kind of long. I don't know how TNA does it. Maybe they have a match on Impact that doesn't end, the way it should end, with a decisive winner, and then they push it to Slammiversary, which could be the case.
Do it there and then add a stip in the second match. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. We'll see. We'll talk about that. But Brendan, what up? MDB, give Tessa the belt, the Crimson Chin.
I do think she's gonna get the belt eventually. I really thought it was gonna be Slammiversary until Killer Kelly showed up. So now I'm interested to see what they do with Killer Kelly, unless, which has been a theory, Tessa hasn't been in that theory, but Masha drops the title to someone on the roster and they reform MK Ultra.
Oh, so we actually build women's tag teams instead of just tear them apart.
Right.
Well, we did also, I know you popped for this,
yes,
of the Inspiration returned at Against All Odds, the former Iconics.
Yeah, when I saw them, I popped real hard for the Inspiration. If anybody knows like their little run in TNA, they came at Bound for Glory. I want to say it was 2021 or 2022, and they won the Knockouts title the same night, and they held it for a couple of months, and then they had to step away from TNA wrestling. But now they're back. We got 3 tag teams in the Knockouts division now. We got them. We got Myla Grace and Hurley Hudson, and then we got the Elegance brand. So they took away 1, gave us 2. We might have a 3rd with MK Ultra. I don't know where we're going. I mean, a 4th with MK Ultra. I don't know where we're going here, but they are looking like they're rebuilding a little bit.
Yeah, well, you got to have at least more than just the champions and the challengers to have a division, I feel. But Ken bringing up, I see there's going to be a Spaceballs 2. Wonder if Anthony will watch that. Have you even seen Spaceballs ever? I know, older movie, you're younger. Have you seen it? Have you heard about this?
I've never heard of Spaceballs.
Do you like the parody movies, like Scary Movie? That was a question, sir.
Oh, that was a question? I thought you were going to continue on.
No, that's the name of the movie, a Scary Movie.
I have seen Scary Movie. Scary Movie was scary to me as a child because of the scream mask, but as I got older, I thought it was pretty funny.
Well, that's kind of what Spaceballs is, just with Star Wars. It's kind of, a little
Oh.
bit like that ish. It's, very, you know, Christ, what's the Liam Neeson, or not Liam Neeson, Leslie Neeson movie there? But anyways, it's kind of more of a spoof movie than a serious movie.
Ah, okay. I
Oh,
just
Naked Gun.
Googled
That's what
it.
I was thinking of. Have you seen any of the Naked Gun movies?
I've never heard of Naked Gun.
Oh, these are all sounding perverted as hell, though, too. I'm trying to corrupt you of if anyone that knows Anthony is listening. I'm not trying to corrupt this poor boy with mentioning Naked Guns and Spaceballs.
I never heard of Naked Guns. I just Googled Spaceballs, and the
No,
description.
no, did your Google account set on fire? Did it crash?
No, it didn't. It took me right to Wikipedia. It's like a parody of Star Wars and Star Trek.
Yes,
That
it's
okay.
sci-fi scary movie. It is,
Okay.
parody, but it's older. It's like 80s ish. I want to
80,
say.
yeah, it says 87. Okay, that I might actually have to check that out because it has Planet of the Apes, which I really love. I don't want to say this on stream, but I'm not a Transformers fan. But I'll watch it because of Star
You
Trek
fucking
and Star
Optimus.
Wars. Yeah, I don't do the Transformers. I tried, it wasn't for me.
Autobots roll out. Well, we'll roll down the comments here. But shout out and the Eat God, what's up? Now, Eat God, are you gonna have to change back to the wrestling god now that Jey Uso's lost and now Gunther's champion?
Which surprised me. I think it surprised a lot of people. I thought he was at least holding the title until SummerSlam. But when he won the title back at on Raw this past week, I was shocked. I was happy, but I was shocked too.
I think it makes sense that we didn't expect Jay for the longest time to have a huge long reign. Like even if he would have held it to SummerSlam, that would have been awesome for him.
Mhm.
That would have been great. That would have felt like a long reign for him, I feel. And the walls were closing in. And I do like that they did it on weekly TV too. So it makes it very much don't miss out because we could change the world title tonight. Of that's very attitude era. That goes back to Christ. That'll put butts in seats, and that's when they put the title on Mick Foley, Mankind on TV, and that's what switched everybody over. You're going to put asses in seats, you're going to get viewers, you're going to get streamers. If you're going to have it to where anything could happen.
Yeah, I like that we are kind of going back to like unexpected title changes. I mean, we had that on the road to WrestleMania with Io Sky like shocking the world and pinning Rhea Ripley. So I like that we're doing that again. And I think KJ has mentioned this a lot of times that we don't have to have lengthy title reigns, right?
No,
And so we can have these short reigns and make it, a little shocking for people.
Roman Reigns made it think that everybody has to have like a year-long title reign because he held it for like 3+ years. So he kind of changed the perception a bit. But no, there was a time before that to where it was, and it's not like he held it for a hot potato, like he literally lost it the next week. Like he still held it for 50 some odd days and everything. And again, everybody that was surprised that Jay even won it is now acting all shocked and surprised that he lost it.
Right. That is true. I mean, I was shocked that he won the Royal Rumble. Obviously, wasn't shocked that he won at WrestleMania. I think that was a given. But yeah, you're right. I've seen people backtrack over the past couple of days with Jey Uso. We got the fickle fans out there.
Right. But Leo Foss, who's not a fickle Foss, out here saying hi everyone, like and subscribe. And yes, folks, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit like, share, subscribe. I can say words. And also we do have the super chats, the super stickers, as well as we try and click on as many, but if we miss you, we can't get to your full comment and everything. That's the way you get seen. That's the way you show up because that's what the show's about. We're up to almost 60 likes on the stream. We're up to almost 70 viewers watching with us. Let's see if we can reach triple digits across the board.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, this is the build to Slammiversary, the fallout for Against All Odds. I think from what I've heard, the matches were really good tonight from the people that attended live at the tapings last Saturday. So I'm excited for tonight.
Fair enough, but we've got too long in the wind. But so the event should be starting any minute now here, folks. Yep. If you want to sync up with Anthony and I think we're both watching on TNA Plus. Mm-hmm. I will halfway rapid fire some names here. Hassan, Simone, Daniel, TJ, MDB, I got you. Trey, what up? Puppet KJ has come back. Puppet KJ has come back. I know he was here last night, but I've got crowd shot for getting a recap of, I think, Against All Odds.
That's what I have too.
There you go. There you go. Role model. Good evening, gentlemen. Good to see you, Anthony. Nick. Good to see you as well.
What's up,
sir.
role model?
Right. OG Dale. What up? What up? Oh, we're behind. Mea Copa. Daniel Berry Sports. We're definitely, yeah. Bradley, we talked a lot. Bradley, what up? Hello, everyone. And thank you for acknowledging my Discord post. Oh, no, absolutely. Well, no, trust me. We were already, again, we've been through all the technical glitches and everything like that. But yeah, we had very much we're questioning if we will be able to be here tonight with you fine folks, because everything, it seems, was crashing today.
It's just a crash out party.
It literally, Jey Uso lost, Ron Truth, our on Killing showed up, and everyone's just crashing out across the board. Cherokee George, what up? So I'm still getting I'm getting Killer Kelly showing up right now and Against All Odds. So I'm just getting a replay of Against All Odds, sir.
Yeah, just a replay of what happened last Friday.
Right. But Cherokee George, what up? Evening all. Can never get enough of the Hardys. Yes, Hardys versus Hearst Class. Also, a big Indy Hartwell fan. Waiting for the 841 match. I think a lot of people are excited because it's such a unique thing. And like you said, there's only been two others. Yeah,
two others. Yeah, one that Moose was involved when I can't even talk. Moose was involved in, I think it was at Against All Odds in 2023, and then there was a knockouts one on an episode of Impact. So it's only been two.
Fair enough. Sean Reed, is this episode live? We're live. They are not.
Yeah, they are not. But I've heard that some live episodes are coming in the future, so they haven't forgot about us. Then I think I have Santana. Do you have Santana?
Santana talking to
Santino.
I was like, Santana on Santana action. I do like, for those who didn't know or anything like that, I saw Mike Santana's post that he put out of now he's got targets over Trick and AJ and KC. Now I'm putting heads out.
Yeah, I like that. I like that Santana actually has been tweeting a lot lately of what's been going on between both shows. I think that's been fun to see.
Right. Sorry, I'm just realizing how far we are behind.
Right.
Canadian Nick, what up? I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you that. Nick Serial, shout out to homie, my guy. What's up, guy?
Nick?
TNA Austin Powers. Yes, the people will not forget, sir. They will not let you live this down. You need to watch Austin Powers. That should be, if you lose the next Wing of the Ring, that you have to watch Austin Powers and do a weekly recap like the TNA review of Austin Powers.
I can't agree to that.
I challenge you.
And I don't plan on losing the next one because it's women's wrestling. If I lose the next one, someone shoot me.
Do it. If we get to triple digit viewers and triple digit likes on the stream, Anthony has to do it. If we reach 10K subscribers right now tonight, 8K subscribers, 7.5, Anthony has to do it.
I'll be sitting here for 30 minutes saying this was a terrible movie. Please do not go watch.
It'll be a 30-second clip. Don't watch it. Bye. God damn it. All right. But yes, so we have the crowd shot at Tempe, Arizona. For those who are syncing up.
Which we have Santino opening up the show, I think.
Yes, we do. We do. We have the slide. The Cobra. Cobra. Wrestling fans love their comedy and love their reptiles.
And what I've learned from Against All Odds when it comes to the Cobra, always have a backup, because Tessa stole the first Cobra, the first, Sacco, and Ariana Grace had another one. So you always got to have a backup.
I do. Well, Santino just fits and everything. Now, what happens now with Foxy there, Miss 38 going on 51 there, Victoria Crawford.
She does look a bit older for her age.
Well, no, she was the deputy assistant sheriff, and then Robert Stone was the deputy that was getting thrown out of the building we saw earlier.
Right. So I don't know what's next for them, honestly. But he retained his deputy or director of authority, so he's still in charge. But Robert Stone said he was going to be here tonight.
He was there, and then at the beginning they stoned him out.
Oh, I missed that.
That was right as the show was kicking off from earlier today.
Well, it's a good thing they threw him out because we don't need Robert Stone.
Right. Anthony Thompson saying, "Big Nick." I realized that who I was talking to, and then you snapped at when I said Anthony Thompson. But Big Nick, Gerard Butler send your money yet? What? Why does Gerard Butler? Why does his Leonidas owe me money? I don't know if I want to can challenge him for it. He might just kick me in the chest.
Yeah, we don't need that. We definitely don't need that.
Is it just me? And I know I try and keep the stream quiet, so obviously we don't get in trouble with the copyrights and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm struggling to hear him.
I have my earbuds in and I have it up pretty high, and I'm struggling to hear him too. So it's not you, it's the volume of the show.
Fair enough. Yeah, he said something super excited, so clap. But yeah, I've got it up higher than I have on any other show we've had, and I'm still like, what you say, Sonny?
Right. It sounds like it's a little, I don't know the terminology, but it sounds a little static a little bit. It doesn't sound clear, I should say.
Well, it sounds like he's talking on more like the overhead, like the PA system would have it.
Yeah.
Then it's going outward feed.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. So he's talking about an all-star match for next week.
Oh, no, he's talking about the 8-4-1 match right now.
Yeah.
Because I have 4 versus 4. When he does the gestures, I'm Italian. I pick it up real fast.
Yeah.
That's Italian sign language. You talk with your hands. Moose versus Slater at Slammiversary. Maybe Leon finally wins the title.
I think that's the plan. I mean, he pinned him at Against All Odds. I think that's the plan.
Anthony's mentioning Den of Thieves. No, I'm not O'Shea Jackson Jr. I like how much he's gotten even involved with TNA. I know he's like the world's most famous wrestling fan or celebrity wrestling fan right now, it feels. But that he was out there he's been out there recently on the TNA pre-shows with Busted Open.
With Busted Open, and he's become a real big fan of TNA over the past couple of months. So it's good to see him in that world. I know, like you said, he's a huge wrestling fan all around. So this is cool that you have some name value with him on TNA.
Right.
We got the inspiration coming out.
I'm gonna let you just soak this in. They are the same fucking person, my guy. They
really are.
They are just copy. Let me see your homework. All right, just don't make it look like I copied you. One's got this in a ponytail and the other don't.
Exactly. Same color hair and everything. Fun fact, if anybody doesn't know, Harley Cameron actually sings their theme song. I did not know that until like 3 or 4 days ago.
Does she really?
Yes.
I was gonna say, does she or does it? Is it Minnie Monet that does it?
No, it's Harley Cameron. Minnie Monet. That's hilarious.
I mean, you never know. Is Minnie Monet gonna take the iguana out on a date? Puppet on puppet action?
Maybe. But speaking, because I think we're about to go on commercial break. Speaking of Minnie Monet or Monet, is she getting her 6th title next week? Or is it the 7th title?
Oh, at All In?
No, she's challenging for the CMLL title next week.
Oh my God, I didn't even realize that.
Yes.
Hold on. You say hi to some of the people I may have missed.
I will.
I think Boston's there. I didn't click on him. I need to confirm this.
I will say hi to the people, and I'll also give you a heads up that it's a thunderstorm and I might lose power. So just let you know.
Fair enough.
MDB down here said, God bless Billy Kay. I popped real hard last week. No pun intended. Pause. Like it was just, I lost it. Monet winning her 5th title next week. She's taking the CMLL belt. So I think it is her 5th title if she wins. I don't know who she's facing while Nick finds that.
Is that how you try and pronounce this? Zeuxis. It's like Zeus if you fucked it up. Zeuxis, not sorry, defending her title against Mercedes Moné. Yes, she's. If there's one thing AEW does, it's a belt collector gimmick. That 100%. They did it with Kenny. They're gonna do it again. I thought you were going all the way to she beat Toni Storm. She already sat there. I always think that now that she's got that one title in Vienna, I think we're setting up at some point for a Tekla versus Mercedes Moné match because she's got an Austrian belt.
Oh yeah, I think that's definitely happening. Bold prediction, she's gonna have seven championships by the time what is it, All Out, the one in Chicago that they usually do, happens.
Well, they're not doing that one until September this year. If they're surprisingly not doing like they usually do of All In, immediately follow it. Yeah.
Okay.
C Money letting me know I got it right. Well, thank you. I done learned it. I done learned a time or two. Elsie Green said she's open to another match with Penta. Fair enough.
And I saw their match together in what is that Lucha Underground. That was great. Yes. That was fun.
Nick saying Trey agrees. Spinoffs were awful. What spinoffs? Spinner belts? I don't know. David, TNA. Let's flip it and go, bruv. You what, bruv? Anthony, if you haven't watched Austin Powers, have you watched the American Pie movies?
I was just asked this question by Boston Gamer like 2 days ago. No, I have not seen American Pie either.
My Miss American Pie. What's wrong with you, my boy?
I don't know. I'm not a comedy dude.
Do you not enjoy fun? They say I don't like fun. I don't like when I wasn't over the moon about iguana, but you're not fun even more to me.
So we're back with TNA. We got the Inspiration versus some local talent here.
To be determined. Yeah. I'm trying to read her attire. Is it Sweetie Thang?
I don't know. Was it Sweeteners? I don't.
Sweet and Low. We got Sweet and Low versus half and half as a tag team here. Oh, you done upset the other Nick. He's about to crash out.
Apparently.
So we need so many watch parties. So many movies, so many parties, so great, so huge, so funny. I don't know why. Do you not like to laugh?
I don't. I just like to be scared. That's my happiness.
That's weird. Sorry, love you, but yeah, I don't know. That sounds interesting as what to say. I like to be scared. That's my happiness. What? But Anthony is asking for a first match poll. Unfortunately, KJ's the only one who's a snake charmer and knows how to get polls to rise here. But yes, let me know, folks, who you got, whether you got Team Job or Team Inspiration.
I like that. Team Job versus Team Inspiration.
Yeah. Local enhancement.
And it looks like the lady in pink has knee braces on both knees. That tells
she's Stone Cold Stunner.
I was just about to say that.
Well, did you complete side tangent and everything? Apparently, Tegan Knox, or the artist formerly known as Tegan Knox, Nixon Newell, having a hard time getting bookings. Maybe it's them knees are clattering, might be an issue.
Yeah, I saw that. It just made me wonder if it's because of her past injuries. That would, wouldn't surprise me.
If she shit out of me.
Huh?
I said that would deter the shit out of me, especially if I'm a bigger promotion.
Exactly.
I want to think about it. If you're a sports team or anything like that, I want to sign a player that's got a known injury history.
Yeah, absolutely. It would just deter anybody away. I mean, now I feel bad for her, but it's just the truth. Even if, in a regular job, if you get fired so many times, people might not want to hire you. It's just kind of,
But Bonkers taking Inspiration, Damon Inspiration, Damien's
and
always inspiration. He's now the leader of the Inspiration Tribe, not the Hopium Tribe.
that's true. That's true. And the inspiration
Bunker.
is actually looking really good in this match. I know this team is going to make them look good, but they're looking good so far.
You mean the already veteran women's tag team looks good against the fucking local enhancement talent? Color me shocked.
Right.
But no, it is good, and it's good to see them at least back in the ring, because it was for a long time they weren't doing anything. Billy Kay wasn't doing nothing. Lee was out there just having babies with Spears. So yeah,
exactly. I think Billy Kay said she had got pregnant. I think after Peyton Royce had got pregnant, and then Peyton Royce got pregnant again. So they just been all over the place.
Fair enough. Well, that's one way to talk about getting pregnant. Yeah. I just like to be scared. Does Anthony need hugs? We had our emotional kumbaya moment last night, me and KJ did. Do we need to have a sit down and hug it out right now, my guy? If you just like being scared?
I just like being scared. That's it. When it comes to movies, like I watch comedy TV shows like I didn't like The Office, but Parks and Recreation, The Big Bang Theory, stuff like that. But when it comes to movies, I'm not a big comedy fan.
Okay. Different strokes for different folks. Frankie, bad choice of words or best choice of words. Depends on how you want to look at it. Yesterday I was 201. Billy Kay, she didn't have a kid, so
2, 3. That was a nice tag team move called the Idolizer.
The Itemizer?
Idolizer.
No, I heard you, but yeah. No. Oh. The audio came in like a son of a bitch right there. But yeah. Is there an overabundance of glamorous, pretty, look at me, I guess, type gimmicks in women's pro wrestling right now? If you have the glamorous, the alleged copyright infringement of Toni Storm, which I think is more Tiffany and Ash by Elegance. You have the Elegance, you have Tiffy, you have this. Are we getting back to a Barbie diva era of wrestling?
I would say we're getting back to maybe the glamour-ish era of divas wrestling with a little bit of actual wrestling from this, what we have now. I think that's kind of what we're getting back to, which is not a bad thing. I like those type of gimmicks. I think they're fun. And we know Mariah May could wrestle. Her new name is Blake Monroe, but
yes,
I like it. I like it.
Is it the I can look pretty and kick ass too era? Because that's the thing. That's the difference, I guess, is that they can actually go in the ring. The Divas era, which still, I don't know how you feel about Nikki Bella showing up on Raw, and I guess the Bellas are going to be a thing for a minute. That's very much all reminiscent Divas era.
Yeah, I know KJ and you, Nick, you guys are not.
I don't like the fact that they're here, but.
And that's perfectly fine. Another thing is that I do like the Bella Twins. I think they were obviously not the best wrestlers of anything. I thought they were pretty good on the mic, and I found them entertaining. But I also feel like that you can't have the tag team titles and at least not have the Bellas hold them once. Because I mean, they didn't spearhead tag team wrestling, but 90% of their career was tag team wrestling. So
that's just because they're fucking twins. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. But they're not going to go after that.
They were twins, and people loved them, and I was one of them. So.
I will say this as we're on commercial break, and you can do with it what you will. Of the Bella Twins were mediocre wrestlers at best in already a super weak era for women's wrestling. I think they are more reality television than they are pro wrestling. They have never connected with me. And when Booker T's out there saying that there should be an Evolution 2, like you could do it a 2-night event almost, like you could do this, super stack it out because there's so much depth on the women's roster, and then we've got to rely and bring on legends that are so removed that aren't going to be here past this.
I mean, I agree when it comes to KJ's point is that they're always going to bring in legends for the big moments, regardless of how we feel about them. Like when Nikki showed up at the Royal Rumble and then the Evolution rumor started to happen quickly right after. It was gung-ho that she was going to be a part of Evolution. She wasn't even a full-time wrestler when she was in the first Evolution, and she main evented the first Evolution. So it was just it was bound to happen regardless.
Fair enough. Well, OP three-way. I hope I'm halfway saying that right. I'm not a Minnesota, but Bellas are taking those tag titles. Bree's going to use the yes lock too.
Yeah, she's definitely going to use that yes lock to win the tag team titles if they do take it.
Job said, "What up?" MDB is saying you can definitely hear Harley Cameron on the Inspiration song.
Yeah.
So as we're in commercial break. We've got questions for Anthony now. Anthony, what's your go-to comedy show?
That's a good question. There's a lot. There's one comedy show I've watched twice. I haven't watched any other comedy show twice. And that's Two Broke Girls. I really like that show. That was pretty funny. Yeah, Two Broke Girls was hilarious. That's the one I watched twice. But like on a given Saturday, I think they play Parks and Recreation on TBS early in the mornings on Saturday, and I tend to watch that almost every Saturday morning.
Fair enough. So that's your Saturday morning cartoons. I get you. No, because I'm more there of like obviously I'll do reference to Trailer Park Boys, of Always Sunny. I'm a huge fan of.
I want to watch that one.
Always Sunny is fucking goddamn tastic. Yeah, when it comes to that, and as I'm going back from the action, but someone I think also, and I wish I could find that comment. They were doing the Scream impression of trying to ask you, so Anthony, what's your favorite scary movie?
I think I answered this the last time we did the TNA stream, but it's always The Conjuring.
It's movie questions with Anthony hour.
It's The Conjuring. And another comedy TV show that I do watch as well is Abbott Elementary. I love that show.
That's what I wanted to. I just have never found the time or where to access it, type of thing.
It's on HBO Max, I think.
Oh, the one that I have for AEW.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
As we got the first class of their appearance on NXT this week here. But
I missed NXT. So you're gonna have to tell me what happened in this. I missed NXT because they were playing the Atlanta Dream on CW.
All right. So here, get out there watching Reese. No, she's Chicago Sky, Micopa. But yeah, it was the first class showed up and just kind of had a back and forth with Yoshi and Briggs backstage. I think they might be in a 6-man tag match next week. I'd have to Google to confirm.
Okay.
But yeah, well, as much as now with Trick being involved in TNA, First Class has become very much involved in NXT, which is, yes, this is where Elijah got involved. So,
okay.
Yeah. But I like the integration of kind of ex NXT talent in now or in current NXT.
Especially AJ Francis, like one that's been fired twice by WWE.
I have done such a 180 on that guy.
You have. It's actually two people you've done 180s on, and it's him, and you've said some positive things about Ash by Elegance too. So,
I must have been delusional then. But no, and I like though, yeah. So it's going to be a 6-man next week of Trick and First Class taking on Elijah, Briggs, and Yoshi, as we've got First Class coming up right now. But I like them as a tag team. I think AJ Francis is one of the best kind of big men that they have. And he does have fucking talent. Like, I still think he can't fucking rap, which is why he works with Trick, because neither of them can fucking rap. Swerve got one good song. He still can't rap either. But I like the fake balling kind of gimmick that it feels with it.
No, I agree with you. You're right, though. They both can't rap. We've seen that. But pairing them together, I think is pretty good. As I think we get the Penthouse segment first. I know First Class is taking on the Hardys later on tonight too, in some tag team action.
Right. But Lady B saying Arnold and Danny DeVito were twins too. It doesn't make it right. Stop trying to make twins happen. Yes. Justice for twins.
I think MDB is really upset with me tonight because I think this comment says it all.
That shit was a 2-pack of ass. No, different strokes for different folks. And that's,
I don't think MDB believes in that.
Well, that's his prerogative. Our prerogative around here is, that's why we have difference of perspectives and why you can bring up something that I would have never thought of and vice versa.
Right. MDB, get with the picture. That's what
we can all just get along. I'll be Jackie Moon out here. Don't make me turn this bus around. You don't have to be good. To rap. True facts. You just have to have good auto tune or getting catchy fucking one hook. Nick is going to be a 180 on Spooky Chew. No.
I think we need to clip that out when he does take a 180 on Spooky Chew.
Don't worry. Don't hold your breath. Don't wait on it. If I feel like giving away some money, as he pulls out $100 bill.
Just $100 bill. That's it. Just one of them.
Is there? I mentioned about almost a revolution or a resurgence of the kind of the diva-ish gimmick, but have we seen a resurgence of the fake ballin'? Of we have Mercedes Moné has to eat a steak with every time she does commentary, shit like that. Of like, why do we got to have the penthouse segment? We got the high rise with Tyreek and Tyson and Wesley. Why are we fake balling out here? Why are we out here cubic sarcarbian?
Exactly. I mean, and we just had a penthouse segment at Against All Odds, so having it back to back might be, for me, a little bit too much. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Right. Someone look at this kid because he's probably going to be part of the bloodline in about 10 years.
Russell rants up here. Oh, you were actually about to click on it.
Yeah, Two Broke Girls is low-key a banger. I can back Anthony on that. They have great chemistry. Is that just... I watched that show because of Kat Dennings. I'm a keep it a buck. I watched that show because of Kat Dennings and Kat Dennings only.
That's not a bad shout because Kat Dennings is Kat Dennings.
Thanks for staying. Thor, Love and Thunder, my guy.
That's personally why I watch her new show with Tim Allen called Switching Places or something.
Where he's not Tim the Tool Man Tanner and everything like that, but he's Tim Allen the Tanner.
Yeah, absolutely.
That dry ass steak, yeah. Made me think of Hank Hill. Well, what if someone wants their steak well done? Well, we politely ask them to leave.
Oh, so now we get Trick Williams coming out.
MDB trying to correct me. His name is Pedro. That don't mean shit. We got JC Mateo, Pedro. They'll make that work. Oh, Frankie also bringing this up as yes, we have the trickiest of the Williams. Yes. So, preemptive spoiler alert of we also will be back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow night for Friday Night SmackDown. There is already the assumption, the rumor, the alleged of we might have not a Tamatonga, not a Tongaloa, but a Talatonga. We might have Hikuleo showing up on SmackDown.
I saw that earlier today. I saw a lot of people talking about that. That would be great. Didn't he sign like last year sometime?
He's almost a year on the shelf.
Yeah. So that would be pretty cool to see him tomorrow on SmackDown. It might help SmackDown a little bit because SmackDown be dragging sometimes. But
does he go on the side of Jacob, or does Solo just reload when it comes to his kind of Samoan infantry?
I feel like Solo, and
he's already got the other two brothers. Why not add the third to your collection?
Exactly. I was gonna say I feel like Solo may need people. Like Jacob for two doesn't need anybody. He's by himself. He can handle it by himself. Speaking
He's a
of Jacob for
one-man
two,
army.
the Money in the Bank I Hate You Solo was great. But yeah, I think he joined Solo Sokoa and not Jacob for two.
Yeah, Jacob's kind of a one-man army, and again, he's already got both the other Tongans. Hope to fuck they don't call him actually call him Tonga, like Tonga Tala or whatever the fuck it was going to be. No, just I don't even. There's got to be something better between that and Hikaleo. Like Hikaleo is still fine, but you can't go all the way to Tala Tonga just because he's the tall Tongan. That's
Right.
just too stupid.
What if they shorten it to just like Leo?
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah. If they shorten it to just Leo, I think that would be cool too.
But he's got the other two Tongan brothers. Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, and Hikaleo are all siblings. Yeah. So he's already got the other two in the collection. Why not add the third?
Exactly. Which just to pivot for a second, I think this is a great point that AJ Francis just said. If they beat the Hardys, they're basically next in line for the tag team titles. What if they make a stable out of this and Trick Williams doesn't lose the title at Slammiversary? He retains and they become tag team champions.
I'm not mad at it at all. I think it does become interesting of how long is Trick involved with TNA, because it was becoming that question of does Trick move to the main roster? He might have found a new lifeline here in TNA, and he can go for a minute here.
Yeah, he could go for a minute here. I definitely can see that. And it did look like for a minute his next ride was the main roster. Maybe after he loses the TNA World Championship, he takes a ride to the main roster. I don't know.
But is it one of those, does it fit pretty well of that, hey, I could have gone to the main roster. We saw what Carmelo, where he was at, where he still is at with the main roster, which Trick's not even going to reach that level when he first jumps up. Let's be honest. I'm not going to rule the roost anymore in NXT. That's Oba's territory. He done chuck me out of this. Let me go down to TNA, and I can run roughshod here for a bit. And I'll be the most over I've been in a while. I've been the most entertaining. I've been the most talked about I have in a while over in TNA.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're kind of going for with Trick Williams, and he's really over, honestly, with both shows, with NXT and Impact. So that's basically what's happening now, honestly, and I like it.
So we're getting a replay of one of the hands, I don't know left or right, taking on Mustafa Ali from Against All Odds. Can you explain to those like I who do not know of the exact fallout between Ali's hands and himself?
So who we have in the ring right now is Jason Hotch. So I'm just gonna call him the right hand of the great
right hand, not left. Do this shit. Figure it out.
But honestly, the fallout of the group is all because of Mustafa Ali. Is the group members, so Tasha Steelz and the Great Hands, they're not really feuding or against one another. Mustafa Ali, after taking so many losses, is basically showing his aggression out on, Tasha Steelz and on the Great Hands. That's basically where the cracks in the group are, all stemming from Mustafa Ali and him not really being successful after losing to Mike Santana at Rebellion.
So much like, certain people that might be commanding other countries here of just taking that shit out on their cabinets and everything instead of taking accountability on their thing.
That if you want to put it in that
direction, that way, you can read between the lines, and trust me, I don't even know if those people can read the lines, but yeah.
But that's perfect. That's exactly what's actually happening. Which a lot of people had said when it comes to Jason Hotch, this was like his, shining moment for TNA. This was a really good match. And tonight he's facing, I think, Leon Slater. So that'd be another great match for him.
there is the potential for the Good Hands to be a good tag team. They just need to not be the Good Hands, because that has a connotation to hardcore wrestling fans, and it just it sounds like a stupid fucking name, respectfully. B, being a good hand in wrestling just means you're a good guy that gets people over and everything. You're not ever going to actually be over. So it's like this weird kind of double entendre of like degrading them the whole time. And they're actually, you can tell, they're one of the better tag teams that TNA has. They're just, it's very much a la Jake something. Jake something, I think, could be more something if he wasn't Jake something, if you get what I'm saying.
No, I get exactly what you're saying. I don't like the Good Hands name either, and I don't know if you guys just heard that, but the house just shook from the thunder.
The Thunder Rose.
But yeah, I don't like the Great Hand their name either, and same with Jake something. Like there could be a name change there that can make it a little bit more potent for both Jake something and the Good Hands.
Are they just replaying this whole match? Well, I do want to mention C Money, First Class Horseman. I do like this. If Tama and Loa will take Hikuleo for themselves, they'll probably throw Lance Inawahi with Solo and JC. I believe Lance is still recovering from an injury. I could be wrong, but I know he's been a bitish on the mend. What do you think will happen on tomorrow night on SmackDown? Just tune into the live stream. We'll talk about that. We might talk about it later. But how do you feel of TNA kind of very almost briefly after the fact showing full pay-per-views, putting full pay-per-views like Against All Odds and everything on YouTube?
Yeah, that's been interesting. They did it with Under Siege, and like you said, they did it with Against All Odds. I think it's just another way for them trying to reel in some fans. I don't know why they're doing it, but if that's the reason, I think it's great. From what I saw, it was like 10K people watched the Against All Odds replay last night on YouTube. So that's really good. I like it. I know some of the fans kind of feel disgruntled because it's like we're paying for TNA Plus and then you're just shelling it out for free on YouTube a couple of days later. I completely understand that. But I do like the fact that they're trying to get it out there. I'll just say it like that.
Is it the oh well, no, I agree with that. It's like the reverse of the tapings to an extent of like you can pay more to be there and watch it live, or you can wait until we air it because it's still going to get in those people that, well, I won't pay the $9.99, whatever it is, what have you, but I'll watch it for free. So yeah, you might be able to watch it on a delay of if they put it out. You won't be able to watch it live like we do, but yeah. So it's an interesting way to go about it. Like if it was AEW or a WWE, I probably would feel, well, if it's WWE, you're already halfway just not paying for it anyways. But if it was AEW, if I'm paying 60 some odd dollars for it, and then 2 days later you put the whole shit out on YouTube for free, I'm gonna fight somebody. I don't know who, but I'm gonna fight somebody.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with that. You're paying 50 some odd dollars. The TNA specials, like their Friday specials, are literally only $10. So it's not breaking the, if you're buying it separately, it's $10. If you have the TNA Plus app, it's free. So like to me, it's not much of a big deal. But if it was like AEW and you're paying, 50 to $60, I might be a little perturbed. I might.
Yeah, well, and I'm not gonna shell or shill out for this for you, as we got pretty much the full match of Ali versus Right Hand. You said Right Hand from Against All Odds, but that if I'm getting TNA Plus, if I pay $9.99 a month, I get every pay-per-view for free. I get the weekly TV show live, all that. I've got the access to the library. It's very a la reminiscent to the WWE network of it's the much more cost-effective way to go about it. And again, hashtag not sponsored. We've had WWE here. We've had AEW here, literally in the chat. TNA, we're up to the highest bidder here. What you want to do? What you want to talk about?
Yeah, absolutely. As we got I think we got a backstage segment with the system.
Yes, and again, is that right or left?
That's right. That's still Jason Hott.
All right. Well, they look exactly the fucking same. Just one might look a little bit more like a JD and not McDonough.
The way I tell them apart, honestly, it might be the wrong way, but the other one, John Schuyler, is a little heftier. He's on the hefty side, and Jason Hotch, he's more lean. The lean tag team person in the group.
So like I said, so left hand's more of the McDonough, the more of the JD than I thought he was. Yeah,
Yeah.
But Nick out there also on Twitch as well. Yes, we have reached 80 Twitchers as we've got 80 in the chat. How ironic. But yes, let's see if we can get 100 watching with us live, and let's see if we can at least get 100 Twitchers out there. We're cross-platforming, folks.
Yeah, absolutely. We're on both streaming services trying to get the name out there. As we got Cardona sticking around. I think that's because he can't find anywhere else.
That's literally where my mind was going, sir. That's literally, I was like, how do I form this into a question or a statement? But yes, I'm like, could it be? Is it because he wants to be? He's going to tell us it's because he wants to be. But is it because the doors might not be open other ways, which I still don't exactly like, because he is super talented. But could it be just you're going to expect to be here and you're not going to deal with being here? And if we bring you in, you're going to be here. You're not going to be here. You're going to be here. We're not getting Matt Cardona, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Roman Reigns, Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania. We might get more Rusev, Sheamus, Matt Cardona for an IC title or something.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's exactly what it is. He's just the doors are closed right now everywhere, and the only way he can get an opportunity is TNA. And if he thinks TNA is potentially his way back to WWE through the partnership, well, then so be it. That that could be his option. But yeah, I think he's only sticking around because no one is really opening the door for him.
Well, are you taking shots at Chelsea Green? How dare you? But no, I think, and again, I am not a fly on the wall, and this is very much more speculating than anything, as we got an injury report. Still to come, we got the tag match, but they popped up injury report for something.
Yeah, I missed the whole injury report.
Yeah, but no, what was it? Anthony Thompson saying only one match so far. No, there's been two in a replay.
Yeah, 2 in a replay. But it was only 3.
No, actually, no, there only has been one match. It's been all segments, because the only match so far was the Inspiration versus Robbers.
It wasn't a lot of matches advertised for tonight either. I think it was only 3 or 4. Let me see.
I don't know, but I just got advertised for Jason Hotch. Right hand versus Leon Slater.
Yeah, that's one. There's the AJ Francis First Class and Hardys, and then we got the 841 match. Which is like technically 3 matches in one, honestly.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is they're gonna go with that. So yes, Jason Hotch versus Leon Slater, the 841 match, which that's probably, I'm surprised if that won't be a good 45 minutes of the show.
Right.
And then then we got into SmackDown. And yes, we will also be here on Saturday for Wrestler Revolver Cage of Honors, the first appearance of Priscilla Kelly. She's risen from the Indies. Yes.
Yeah, I saw this on the list. I didn't even know it was on the list, and I was like, wait a minute, I got to purchase Wrestling Revolver, which I think I already have Triller TV Plus, so it's probably
again hashtag not sponsored, but we're putting you on game because this is the game we're on, just so y'all can keep up with us and still watch along with us, because that's where it's fun. I think it's like $4.99, $5.99. You get Triller Plus. You get everything from Wrestling Revolver, you get everything from House of Glory, and you get everything from GCW, as well as some other promotions. But you get the big 3 kind of independents all included in that. Again, it's the best cost-effective way versus buying this individually or anything. Saving you some monies in this economy, you need to.
Absolutely, because it's hard out here for a pimp. I'm just saying.
Yes. I so fucking love that you referenced that song right now, because all I can think of is the Beavis and Butthead react to, it's hard out here for a pimp. But by the way, I'm going on a full tangent here, but we are on a commercial break again. So we got the Twitch, we got the Twitters, we got the Instagrams, we got the merch stores, we got anything and everything for your pro wrestling needs out here. Trust me, we got the super chats, the super stickers. I don't know if I've seen Spaz to let me know of. I guess last night there was issues with the super chats of how they were coming through or if they were coming through and all that. But when we were crash shitties across all the platforms, might have been part of it. But yes, tomorrow, Friday Night SmackDown. We're out here still moving through, grooving through King and Queen of the Ring, and we might see a Hikaleo, we might see a Hickory Sticker. And again, Wrestle Revolver, Cage of Horrors on top of just cage matches, lots of cage matches. We got the Priscilla Kelly versus Zachary Wentz. We've got fighting on domestic level. But
yeah, I did not know this. It was going to be like a lot of cage matches for this. As okay, Nick came back. It looked like you had froze for a second.
Oh,
but I didn't know this was going to be a lot of cage matches. Yeah, I'm definitely watching Wrestling Revolver on Saturday. I will be getting TV Plus, which I don't have. I'm just looking at it now. So
fair enough. So I'm selling this, man. Do you need to, pause to make sure you can make a purchase and not leak any sort of sensitive information?
Yeah, I'm definitely watching this. I haven't watched wrestling. The last couple of Wrestling Revolver shows I've been behind, so I need to get back into it.
This is why, again, we say we watch more live wrestling than anybody else out there. We cover more wrestling than anybody else out there because other channels, they'll kind of do some mostly WWE streams. They'll maybe even dabble in doing NXT if they're daring. Or you get a few that'll strictly AW and yeah. I challenge anybody that's doing WWE, AW, TNA, independents, this, that, and the thirds, etc., humble brag.
Yeah, absolutely. We out here trying to watch as much wrestling as possible. As Wrestling Rants did confirm that you were freezing bad, but it looks like you're good now.
Okay, well, I was gonna halfway ask this. I was gonna do it behind the scenes, but I guess I can do it out here frontally if I'm good to take a pause for the cause here, sir.
Yeah.
I know you got the thunder rolling, so I don't know. I don't want to, have you get sucked up into a twister or something as I walk away here.
It's calmed down a little, but the thunder is still loud and the house is still shaking. If you know an Atlanta thunderstorm, an Atlanta thunderstorm. But yeah, you should be good to take a pause here.
Well, is that I will leave you with this I will ask the most Canadian question to the most non-Canadian here of how do you feel about the idea of an Atlanta hockey team coming back, an NHL team coming back of now that the whole expansion, and could it be called the Atlanta Thunder?
I don't know. I mean, they really are trying to bring a hockey team back to Atlanta with the expansion in Forsyth County here. So we shall see. The arena that they're building for that hockey team looks really nice. I might attend a hockey game just to go to that arena. But we are back here with TNA. We have Leon Slater taking on Jason Hotch in some singles action. If you watched Against All Odds, Jason Hotch actually took on Mustafa Ali in a really great match. I would consider it a banger. And the winner of that match was Mustafa Ali. So this is kind of like a coming out party, what do you call it? A shining star moment for Jason Hotch here. As I'm gonna go through the chat here, and I apologize if you hear that thunder, but it is very, very loud. Denisha says, I love the Inspirations music. I be jamming to it. It's a theme song. It's a top tier theme song. I listened to it a couple of times over the past couple of days. It's really good. Damien says, I'm interested in seeing Steve Macklin, Deanna Purrazzo versus the young GOAT Myron Reed and Killer Kelly on Saturday. Is that in a cage too? Because it's Cage of Horrors. Yeah, I'm definitely watching Wrestling Revolver. I will be paying for Triller TV Plus right after TNA ends tonight. They did have We Want Truth chants at Against All Odds. It probably spilled over to the tapings because it was the next day. So you probably heard that correctly. And Denisha Anthony, we are Atlanta people here, and the Thunder is rolling. Like it's rolling big time here. Um, they did probably chant "We want truth." This was filmed before he returned. So actually, the day he returned or the night he returned, this was being filmed at the same time. So they probably you probably did hear that. Anthony is asking, where did the Thrashers go? I feel like they went to Canada. But they left Atlanta years ago. But I feel like they went to Canada for a bit, or they either dissolved. Um, yeah, they did go to Canada. Looking at Wikipedia. But yeah, they did go to Canada for a little bit. Boston Gamer is a hockey fan, so that question could be answered by Boston. As he's saying, I have been ignoring him all night, which I don't feel like I have, but you know. Anyway, we're back with Leon Slater and Jason Hotch, which so far so good. It's been a really back and forth match here, as I can't talk. Yeah, so they became the Winnipeg Jets, according to Boston, Nick, and Dale. Yeah, they left Atlanta. They hightailed out of Atlanta. I don't blame them one bit for doing that. But now Atlanta or Georgia, in a way, is begging for a team to come back. So they have actually made a whole plan, which was approved today, for the gathering. The gathering is like a sports and living complex that will be in Forsyth County with a 16,000 seat arena. And they're trying to use that to get an NHL team back here in Atlanta. The only team we actually have here, I want to say it's like a B League team, but it's called the Gwinnett Gladiators. I think they're a hockey team, but they're not like professional hockey. I think they're professional hockey, but like B level. Like they're not in the National Hockey League, if you kind of catch my drift. Um, so on TNA, we still have the match with Leon Slater. I'm gonna pay attention to it a little bit more. I've given you the most hockey knowledge that I have. That's about all I have when it comes to Atlanta and hockey. But we got Leon Slater here. And we got Jason Hatch. We got Leon Slater going to the top, jumping over Jason Hatch here into a clothesline. But if we talk about Leon Slater, we got to talk about Leon Slater being the future of the X Division. And ooh, that was nice, like a spinning back elbow springboard type move. But we got to talk about Leon Slater potentially beating Moose for the X Division title, which I feel like that is at Slammiversary. Moose has been champion since like 2 weeks after Bound for Glory last year. So he's been champion a long time here. So I think it's about time for him to to lose that title and someone like Leon Slater take it from him. The brutal cage match of horror match between Matthew Palmer versus Rich Swann as well on Saturday. I'm already sold with the cage matches. The people in the cage matches is making me want to buy it like at this moment. So that's definitely getting bought. I really want to watch that. Dawson, Anthony, I missed you yesterday. I'm assuming you're talking about Dynamite. I didn't even watch all of Dynamite. The match I wanted to see was the opening match on Dynamite, which I thought was fun. The ending may have been a little bit, or what happened after may have been a little bit wonky. But I really like that match with Swerve and Osprey, and I feel like they need to run it back, and we have a decisive winner. But that's just me. So right now, Hotch is in control. Hotch is in control of Leon Slater. But it was kind of a reversal there into the turnbuckle with Leon going for a standing Blue Thunder bomb, which that was pretty cool. The Blue Thunder bomb itself is a really cool move, but a standing Blue Thunder bomb, I kind of like it. So Nick down here saying Slater and Moose is going to be so good for Slammiversary. I think it's going to be a great match if it happens. It needs to happen. I'm looking forward to it. I think Slater has to take it. I think Slater has to take it. Damien asking, what's your thoughts on Mike Santana being suspended for 2 weeks and then he gets his match with AJ Francis? I think Mike Santana needs to be suspended. I think he needs to cool off. I think he needs to cool off for a moment, collect himself, gather his thoughts, and I think he needs to come back a little bit stronger to take out AJ Francis. AJ Francis is annoying me at this moment. So I like what's happening with Mike Santana and AJ Francis, even though AJ Francis is really pissing me off. Jason Hotch and Leon Slater trading pinfalls there, or attempted pinfalls with a big sidekick by Leon, and it looks like, and I'll get back to the chat in a second here, but it looks like Leon Slater is setting up for the Swanton 450, I think. Yeah, he's going up. Swanton 450. 1, 2, 3. With Leon taking the victory. Great match. Leon definitely, like I said several times, is the future of the X division. Denisha, where can you find Wrestling Revolver on Saturday? On Triller TV. You can purchase Triller TV Plus, or you can purchase the event separately. I don't think it's that much. I think it's like $5 or $6. Max, I would say, is 10. So check it out on Triller TV. Kyle is asking me my thoughts on the 841 match tonight. So if you were not here in the pre-show, I'll go over the 841 match again. The 841 match starts off as a 8-person tag team match. In this case, an 8 knockouts tag team match. The winning team of that 8-person knockouts match will then compete in a traditional tag team match 2-on-2. The winning team from that 2-on-2 tag team match will then compete in a singles match. And then the one, which is the winner, will become the number 1 contender to the Knockouts World title. I like the concept of that match. There's been 2 in history, one that involved Moose, one that involved the Knockouts. And I think this is just a great concept. I don't know who's going to win. You got Tessa out there. You got, I think Tasha Steelz is in this match. You got Indy Hartwell. You got Killer Kelly, Danny Luna, Jody Threat. So you got a lot of huge names in here. If I'm picking 2 out of it, it could be Tessa and it could be Killer Kelly. I think that's where I'm leaning to. Dawson is asking me he's saying one quick question: which women you would like to see TNA sign next? Any idea? So we still got the theory. We still got Shotzi out there, but Shotzi actually said she wants to go to AEW in so many words. And then you got Sonya Deville, which I would like to see in TNA. I think she would do great. And then there's one other one, the Elektra Lopez. I think would be good in the Knockouts division. So those are the 3 I'm looking forward to see. Oh, and Jakara Jackson. And Jakara Jackson has said that TNA is on her radar. And then she said she couldn't say much after that because she had some things cooking up. So Jakara Jackson may be the next one.
Jakara Jackson, absolutely. And it's a way for her to backtrack and get back into WWE, respectfully, because they should have never broken up. The pibbity popcorn players, they should have never broken up. The Meta 2 girls, the Meta 4 girls. But yeah, Elektra Lopez is one. Shotzi's such an interesting case right now because she brings up of how by the way, but she brings up how she made more from a weekend doing Tournament of Death 9 or Tournament of Survival from GCW. She made more allegedly in that weekend than she did, or in a week on the Independence than she did in a month in WWE, which is Shotzi just always feels like she's been just the weirdest victim of circumstance. Like, she was going to be in the Rumble until Alexa was. She was part of Chemical X and was over, and now the only person left out of that whole trio is Tatum Paxley. She's always just been the, like, just right there, has the talent, has the character, has the personality, but just is never in the right place at the right time.
Yes, I think she has, like you said, all of that is, yeah, it's just luck hasn't really got the best of her. And I like I said, I think she clearly said TNA wasn't something she was interested in. She was looking at AEW. So I think that's where she's gonna end up.
Right. Well, and I do really like you bringing up Jakara. I can't remember her current name that she switched to, but
Right.
which also I did not know how much of an actual artist and everything she is. Which shout out also Tekla's a actual talented artist as well. But yeah, of Jakara's already got some history in TNA, so she's over there. Not a bad shout. Of she kind of becomes their Mercedes Monet.
Just a better version, absolutely.
That's not a hard hill to climb, but yeah, I get you. No, one, she has the look, she has a bit of the personality. Like, it just kind of, it's one of those, it came back around and it's like such a fucking easy, perfect sync up there.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jakar said that she enjoyed she was trying to be candid in a way, but she basically said she enjoyed her time in TNA. She really did. She said that she was able to be a little bit more free, and that's what I kind of hear from a lot of the folks, that they're able to be a little bit more free in TNA. And she really liked her time there. So I think that's, you talk about a good Jakar Jackson and Tasha Steelz feud, or putting her really right in the main knockout scene. I think that'd be great for her.
Is that a situation that was the knockouts division as a spot to where, as I see Nick saying, I'm so pissed that we didn't get Lash and Jakar versus the Elegances, and a lot of people bringing up of Dakota Kai and all of that. Is the knockouts division where I can go and make my claim, state my name and everything? And there's not a, I won't say there's not a ton of competition, but the competition might be on a different caliber. So you can go there and you can rise to the ranks a little bit quicker than you could, say, if you moved up to the main roster. If you were in WWE right now, obviously why half these people aren't there. If you go to AEW, the women's division is Monet and others. So is the knockouts division one of those of, I know I can go here and kind of move up the ranks pretty fast?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we've seen it with Jordan Grace, is how she moved up Deonna Purrazzo Trinity, and that was her way to getting back to WWE as Naomi. That is a way for it to, the knockouts division is that way, as they're announcing a live episode of TNA.
Right.
Yeah, Thursday, July 24th, a live episode of TNA after Slammiversary. So the fallout of Slammiversary will be live. I like that. I like that.
Well, and that's kind of like having the Raw after WrestleMania vibe of, that's Slammiversary has pretty much become TNA's WrestleMania. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I don't think you're not wrong from a fan standpoint. Bound for Glory is technically their WrestleMania, but the fans, and I kind of agree, the fans have said Slammiversary has really became like their WrestleMania. Even, I mean, I loved Bound for Glory last year. I don't think it was anything wrong with that. I found Slammiversary to be better. I think just Slammiversary is really,
it has the more WrestleMania name.
Say that again.
Sorry, it has the more WrestleMania name of Slammiversary. It feels more that vibe.
Exactly. To me, Bound for Glory, the name of it is like a stepping stone in a way. Like, you're bound for greatness. You got to get to greatness, right?
It feels like you're mid-year. Like, if TNA, we say WWE has a big four, AW might be getting to a big four, or maybe at least a big three. If TNA has a big two, it's Bound for Glory and Slammiversary. Slammiversary has more of the name that fits a la a WrestleMania feel. It's their summer WrestleMania, and especially if you're going to have the next show after it be a live show and everything, that feels That's their closest way of doing a Raw after Mania, which was sometimes as big as the first night of Mania.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely agree. Like if you put names up there of big shows, you got WrestleMania, All In. That's a really cool name. Like everybody's in for this, and
Right.
then Slammiversary, and then but if you take out Slammiversary and put in what is actually their biggest show of the year, Bound for Glory, you're like, I don't know.
Did you
I'm
know
not
Tessa
feeling
was friends with Macy Gray?
it.
I try to say goodbye and not choke. Try to walk away and I stumble.
I was about to sing, and this is probably like not past your time, but maybe just a little bit older.
Past my time. I'm older than you, asshole.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. I'm younger than you, so I was about to sing the theme song to As Told by Gender, because Macy Gray did sing that song.
So it was before. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying now. Sorry, I interrupted the song singing. I ruined it for everybody. Everybody was waiting to hear Anthony sing, and I just did it all up. But I got Zia Brookside coming out right now.
Yeah, we got the start of the 841 match here.
Yes, and I will really quick read Deshaun Wells saying, "What are our thoughts on the reports that WWE is planning to reunite the Usos later this year, the draft being in September, and the rumor Roman Reigns could be a mystery person in the King of the Ring?" That is 3 questions in one. Quickly answers.
The Usos, if they reunite them and put them against the Lucha Bros, if you get them together. The draft being in September, at this point we can just crap it, and then Roman Reigns could be the mystery partner in the mystery person in the King of the Ring. I agree with that. I don't know if you got kicked out of TNA Plus, but I did.
Fair enough. I sat there and was wondering. It was just live event starting soon now, as I had to refresh because everything just stopped right as Killer Kelly was showing up. She killed my stream, did Killer Kelly.
Yeah, I'm just getting a loading screen for Jody Threat.
I just had, well, it might have been Jody Threat either way, but yeah, I refreshed. I have live events starting soon. Don't tell me why are we all the way back at the start right now? Give me live.
We're doing this at the start of the match that I wanted to see.
No, why are we restarting? Did they just technical error? That's a technical foul. No, I refreshed. All right, so now I have Killer Kelly. Okay, so I was at Jody Threat. If you refresh right now, you should hopefully be getting Killer Kelly.
Okay. All right, I got Killer Kelly. I'm good.
Again, we said this is the day of crash outs. Everybody's crashing out all the way around. From websites to wrestlers to personalities. Usos versus the New Day.
May they rest in peace.
Make the New Day matter. The draft being of September, I've seen it make sense if they're justifying it because it starts the season premieres of both kind of shows. So that's why they might do it there, shake it up then. It's the start of their season. I'm conflicted of how I feel about the draft. Roman Reigns as the mystery person, no, because it needs to be Karrion Kross. And if it's not Karrion Kross, it's going to be Ilya Dragunov. Karrion Kross needs to be involved with something towards the fucking title, or at least involved, period. And I like the idea of Ilya, who might or might not be close to back in action rehab time here, of if he builds all the way. We get at SummerSlam, we get Gunther versus Ilya for the world title. Tell me when that's not a bad thing.
Right. I think that would be fun. And honestly, everything you said, I basically agree with Karrion Kross. If you hear the pops for Karrion Kross for a backstage segment, that just tells you put him in the ring and do something with him. I really like him, and I've had for a very long time.
Well, I think we're gonna get the Righteous out there with him and everything, and we've already had them. They were almost going to be with WWE and be with the Wyatts, and then things happened. So now I don't want to miss this opportunity again of having them involved because they're super talented. Just to get them in the door, I want to see where they can go.
Right. No, absolutely. I agree with you. And just if anybody's still having problems with TNA Plus, just close out the app, reload it, and click on watch live tonight at 8 p.m. and it'll take you to the show.
Fair enough. Yeah. Again, a day of crash outs heard round the wrestling world here, as I've got Danny Luna and Tasha Steelz about to kick off the match, tag into Jody Threat. So we're about to get former tag team partners turn rivals here. Hashtag good enough for WWE, but do they want to touch her with a 10-foot pole? I love how everything from Alberto Del Rio is getting cut the fuck out of any bit of package, any bit of attention, any sort of, relevancy, but I digress.
That is true. That is true. They're erasing him from a lot of things. Now, I don't really know much about Russell's personal lives except his. And yeah,
his was much more public. It was fucking private life. That was a public life. Would Cross be better off in TNA? He would be champion for eternity in TNA.
Was Cross in TNA before?
That's where he started. You had Killer Cross and everything,
right.
So where he showed up, you always saw him with the fucking X tattoo and everything like that. He was part of Lucha Underground, but he really got his kind of footing in the U.S. audience, I feel, in TNA when he was the heavy and he'd always have the fucking playing card and all of that. Like, that's where I really fell in love with who he was, of that, just the image and the talent and everything. And then he became Karrion Kross in WWE, and then
I think he would be over if he goes to TNA at this point right now. I think he would do well in TNA. I just don't know if he wants to go back to TNA. And I feel like he said in the past that he wouldn't go back, but I don't know.
He's over right now in WWE, and he's not even on TV. So, respectfully, TNA would be a step down. That's why I said he would be champion till infinity, because he would just be one of those of, I have to relinquish my title now. No one can beat me. But who do you have winning this match, sir?
Winning the first of the 3 matches.
We can do this. We can break it down of match by match. Who you got winning the women's 8-man tag match? We've got Killer Kelly. Christ almighty, I thought that was Tessa Blanchard. It might be, but yeah. And Jody Threat and Tasha Steelz versus Xia Brookside, Danny Luna, Rosemary. No, there's Tessa. Who the fuck did I miss? I'm mixing teams.
You got I think you got Tessa Blanchard, Tasha. No,
so I got Tessa and Indy mixed up.
Okay, so this is crazy because I thought it was like heels versus faces, but they're kind of all mixed. Which is weird. I'm just gonna go with the team of Killer Kelly because I think Killer Kelly wins here at the end. Well, so
I mean, at this point of, if you've got that team right there, that just with her involved makes the most sense of towards the Fatal 4-Way. You could have Indy win it, and it's still like, if you're picking right now, that's the most obvious pick.
Yeah, Indy is an obvious pick too. I've seen people actually say on Twitter Indy for the win here all week when this was announced. So Indy is a shout here.
I still love my girl Danny Luna. I just wish, why did Mom and Dad have to split? Why did we have to split up the Spitfire?
I really like Spitfire. I also think Danny Luna as a singles competitor is going to be really good once they get her going. And once they get a story behind her, but I think they got something with her.
But that's why, like, Xia Brookside has a bit of a story. She's had everything with Rosemary. Danny Luna has a bit of a thing of all that with Jody Threat, and she's already been there before. Tessa has the Crimson Chin. It's still Tessa. So there could be the case to where the baby faces win.
True. And one thing that TNA doesn't shy away from is having baby faces versus baby faces matches, like Jordan Grace versus Trinity was a baby face match. Nick Nemeth versus Joe Hendry was a babyface match, so they don't shy away from that.
Right. Kevin, what up? But yes, folks,
What's up, Kevin?
you can let us know of. It's still even weird of trying to say which team's babyface and which team's heel. Of she tried to interfere, and Jody said nope. But yeah, of whether you've got essentially team babyface of Zaya Brookside, Danny Luna, and co. Well, yeah, you have two super baby faces and a big ass heel.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it. Like, sneaky roll up. Now, this can't be an elimination match, right? Because I'm like, why would you not try and interfere if your partner's getting rolled up in a pin?
Yeah, it's definitely not an elimination match. So, interferences, you should be breaking up the pin because like you have to compete in the next match.
Right. So Danny gets tagged in and Danny instantly tags Rosemary. Oh, because Danny won't beat up Jody. That's right. What it is.
That's what it seems like.
Kyle, hot take at some point. I think it would be really interesting from a second generation aspect to see a Tessa and Charlotte match in WWE. Do you want the trash thrown in the ring? That's how you get trash thrown in the ring.
I think Tessa is a phenomenal wrestler. I'll say it like that. Does she touch WWE? I didn't.
She has a better chance record. We all say that. It'd be more interesting of does she touch Charlotte, because I think as talented as Tessa is, I will respectfully say Charlotte is head, shoulders, knees, and toes above that. In ring wise, I think Tessa she's a bendejo, a donkey compared to the Four Horsemen. A little bit of that. You've got somebody like a Charlotte who would, I think, as much as yes, the Four Horsemen connection makes sense. Charlotte's the better wrestler, easily. I feel
like, in all honesty, Charlotte is the better wrestler of the Four Horsewomen, but people will tell you different. They really think
he might be the best wrestler, but it's like adding everything into it. Because that's the thing is, if you had to go overall, what would your ranking be?
I would put Becky over Charlotte. So I would do Becky, Charlotte, Bailey, and honestly Mercedes Moné as last. As Indy Hartwell's team wins, so that means it's a tag team match now.
Yeah, so who do you decide who's on whose team? So Indy and Jody Shrett are a team versus Tasha Steelz and Killer Kelly. Nope. Are we just going redheads versus not redheads? I think that's what we're doing.
So I got this all wrong, apparently. I thought this turns in. I feel like the first one turned into a tag team match, but apparently this turns into a fatal 4-way match, and then the winner becomes the number one contender.
Oh yeah, no. That's why
I had said that it turns into a second.
It starts a tag match, it turns into a fatal 4-way, and then turns into a singles match.
Yeah, I was definitely wrong there, but so I don't know now. I'm still picking Killer Kelly. I'm gonna stick with my choice of Killer Kelly, even though Indy could definitely pull out the win. Tessa's out the picture, so we don't have to worry about that. So between between Indy and Killer Kelly, I'm gonna take Killer Kelly because of the history she has with Masha Slamovich.
Yeah, Killer Kelly wins, and the deciding match, I'll put it that way, will happen at Slammiversary. If they have a match beforehand or anything that ends in a no contest or what have you, you might get a stipulation added to the match at Slammiversary. But yeah, I think on one hand, there's enough time, but there's also not enough time for them to build the story and have it, fully flesh it out and everything and make it as impactful as it could be. So I think that they'll do it here and let it run to the month.
Yeah, I can see that happening. And they've already planted seeds with the story after Against All Odds. There was a backstage segment with Masha, and she basically said she's at the top of the division now and she doesn't need Killer Kelly. She said she technically never needed Killer Kelly. So they've already planted the seeds a little bit with that feud.
Fair enough. Well, so as I'm in commercial break of who, so this is to the audience, to everybody of, now we're in stage 2 of this match. Who do you have being the final two? Is it an Indy versus a Killer Kelly? Is it a Jody Threat versus a Killer Kelly? Is it a Christ, who's their goddamn other partner now? I'm forgetting. It's right in front of me. Now I need to look. Tasha Steeles. Is it a Tasha Steeles versus a Killer Kelly?
Maybe a Tasha Steeles versus Killer Kelly, or you can just play it out with Indy Hartwell versus Killer Kelly too.
I think you do Indy versus Killer because that's where everybody's going to be. Oh, could they? Oh, any pinfall might matter.
Yeah, absolutely. I can see that happening.
Right. Well, wrestling don't lie. Is it crashing because too many people watching? Oh, I respectfully, I feel A, I wish we had that problem, and B, I feel like they wish they had that problem too. But no, I think it's just been it's a crash out amongst the wrestling world. But yeah, of sometimes the internet just decides it doesn't want an internet today.
No, it's just crash outs everywhere. I mean, it's been a day of crashing.
It's been like a zombie apocalypse. The amount of people that have just crashed out on the side of the roads here. But yes,
right.
I've got Jody Threat and Indy Hartwell right now, and somewhere KJ is crashing out because Jody Threat could end up being your number one knockouts title contender.
Right. He won't even pick Jody Threat because
Canadian.
I'm
buy this man a Jody Threat jersey now. His birthday's come up. I should do that. I know. Well, and her merch is actually pretty tight.
Indy Hartwell's merch?
No, Jody Threats, but Indy Hartwell. I think
Indy Hartwell has some cool merch too.
In the iguana gimmick. I'm reptilian too.
So go ahead. I was just gonna say we just got Jody and Indy in the ring right now with Killer Kelly actually pulling out Jody.
Right. No, I was gonna bring up I believe you're probably dealing with it too of sometimes the frame rates just dissipate when it comes to this. If there might be having a technical issue or two here.
Yeah, that's TNA's trend sometimes. I'll be powering through, but sometimes it's annoying.
But that's the only thing that at times becomes that halfway drawback of every time that they get really close to doing something really great.
Yeah.
Production gods just strike me down.
And it's crazy to have like these type of issues on a recorded show. And I don't know if it's like TNA themselves or it's just the partner that they have that because Endeavor actually powers the TNA Plus app. If anybody didn't know that, it is Endeavor. So I don't know if it's Endeavor's problem or if it's TNA's problem.
Is TNA becoming just moms against moms in wrestling because we've got Killer Kelly who just had a child. We were talking about Billy Kay having a child. Peyton Royce has clearly had children. So yeah, this is what moms do when they're not out there at the PTA meeting.
Ooh, face first.
Ooh. Tasha didn't exactly kick out of that. I think just it looked like she was supposed to, but Killer just stopped it. Crossbody. Boston, he's asking this towards me, but I feel like this is slightly directed more towards you. Do you think WWE would fire Tessa if they bought TNA?
I mean, look at what they're doing with Alberto.
They're just letting that. They're just running out the clock at this
Yeah,
point.
I think they may do the same if that actually ever happens.
But she's like fresh on a deal.
Right. She is fresh, and we don't know technically how long she signed for either.
We don't know if WWE would buy TNA. Oh
Right.
no, I still think it's hilarious of the whole. Well, Del Rio signed a WWE contract. That's why they cut him out of every fucking thing and don't bring up anything with his match. They'll hype up Mr. Iguana and all of this, and Vikingo to the T to the nines, but
Yeah.
not his opponent at Triple Mania. We have no mention of he is the man who shall not be named. But he
Right.
signed a
Right.
WWE contract. Why the fuck you lying?
Ooh,
Tasha
Tasha still
getting
going
drunk.
for the Stratisfaction. Didn't
Oh,
really work out.
it was the threat of Stratisfaction.
Right. Oh, that was
A lot of
unique by
these
Indy
are
Hartwell.
a lot of these should be threes, but they're calling them twos.
Right. They're really close to threes, if not three.
Well, and not in a good way of like you got the Kurt Angle that's like 2 3/4 of will fucking kick out, but these are like 3 5/8, and then they finally kick out.
Now she finally hit the Stratisfaction, Tasha Steeles, for a 2 count on Jody Thread, I think it was.
Yes, sir.
Killer Kelly starting to stir over there.
Is Killer Kelly a bit of the Rhea Ripley-ish in the situation of the obvious choice?
I think so. Yeah. Ooh. Indy
Oh.
Hartwell's finisher is really unique.
Oh.
So Killer Kelly wins and faces Masha. So
why did I think that this broke down into a one-on-one match?
see, and I was wrong there, but I feel like the first one, I'm gonna have to go back and do some history because I feel like the first one turned into a singles match. But I was totally wrong. I apologize, chat. I can tell you when I'm wrong. But apparently this was the 8-person tag team match that turned into a fatal 4 match, and then the winner, which is the one, is the number 1 contender, which in this case is Killer Kelly.
Well, I do like though that she stole it away from Indy. You even were bigging up literally Indy's finisher right there. And now maybe Killer Kelly versus Indy is the match you have before we get to Masha versus Kelly at Slammiversary.
I like that. That's something that you could have on an episode of TNA Impact between those two. So yeah, I like that.
Right. I know Kelly better than she knows herself. Does MK Ultra facing off one-on-one for the Knockouts title need a stipulation? TNA has been one way or the other. I know they're trying to kind of rein some shit in because they're trying to get a TV deal, but does this having a stipulation, is it warranted?
I think so. I think it is warranted. I think they competed in a dog collar match too, the two of them. And this match is not happening at Slammiversary. It's happening in 2 weeks, according to Masha.
Oh God. Oh boy. Yeah, so that's interesting as hell if they're gonna sit there and do that in 2 weeks.
So I wonder if something happens where they run it back at Slammiversary, or this is just I would hold off until Slammiversary, but I'm not the TNA booker. I'm gonna just watch and hopefully be okay with it.
Well, it's kind of like what you said earlier of you do it the first time, it ends in a no contest, then you can add the stip to the rematch that kind of feels more like the original match.
True. So I don't know. We'll see. And you could have a stip if they do a second match at Slammiversary. I don't know what that stip is, but they could do something. They could
Dog
run back
collar?
a dog collar match. They could run back. They could do not run back. They could do a strap match between those two. That would be fun.
Monsters Ball.
Monsters Ball. Yeah, you can run with that. I don't think it's ever been a Monsters Ball for the Knockouts title. It probably has, and I'm just saying that out loud, but I don't think it has. So you could run that too.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I don't know if I'm gonna get you to answer this before you run for a minute, but Johnny's saying, in my opinion, Dynamite was better than Raw this week. Choice of terms. I mean, if you're saying just Dynamite as a whole of those 2 hours, you can maybe make an argument, but then extra 2 hours.
I enjoyed Raw. I thought
Yeah.
Raw was really good. I did not watch the main event because I was falling asleep and I was like, I'm just gonna turn it off. But then, I saw a message and I was like, oh, Jay won. I'm excited. But I have to go back and watch that match sometime this week. But the rest of Raw was pretty fun. I really enjoyed it. Dynamite, I capped out after the opening match because that was the only match I wanted to see.
And I worry that that's where a lot of people were. I worry that was let's captivate and catch the ratings while we have them, because it was respectfully, it was a ski slope of I wanted to enjoy it, and it started here. And because you started here, and I don't think you can exactly do Ospreay versus Swerve at midnight on a Wednesday. That would have been really cool if you maybe did that on a Saturday. To do that on a Wednesday. People got to work, my guy. Just because you don't got to work, Tony, doesn't mean we don't got to work.
I feel like you could have even made it like the main event of Dynamite that trickled into Collision.
Yeah, I was there too. And I don't think it never needed to be the 4 hours of, you could have done 3, 2.5. Why does it need to be the 4 hours? I understand you got Collision and Dynamite, but doing into the midnight hour with an overrun, it just became such a head-on collision, to quote Newfound Glory. But yeah.
No, absolutely. I'm with you there. As I'm going to leave you guys with Nick for a quick second here. I don't know how to do it, Nick, though. How to
All right, I will
that.
do it. I will do it for you. I will kick you out the door. Hopefully, I don't have to let you back in the door. But yes, there. As Anthony's taking a pause for the cause, as I'm getting a highlight of all the TNA events coming up. We've got Impact in Pittsburgh, Slammiversary in New York, Impact Live in Kingston, Rhode Island. We got double headers in Kingston, Rhode Island, New England. Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah, I don't know why we'd be sponsored by a section of the U.S. But anyways, as we're getting another replay of Macklin versus Mitch Warner from Against All Odds. Now, it's interesting because on one hand, they're showing highlights, but at the same time, they're showing a whole fucking lot of the match here. But how are we feeling so far tonight? We're an hour and a half. We're into the back half. We're into the back 9 here when it comes to TNA. I'm so used to goddamn 4 hours and 3 hours from SmackDown and Dynamite and everything. I'm like, we're part of the way through here. We've got 8 hours left before, Money in the Bank kicks off. But no, we're in the last half hour here. We're into the nittiest to the gritty. How are you feeling so far about TNA tonight here? Would you, and this will be the going comparable, I feel, would you rather run back or watch TNA or NXT this week? Because those are the closest parallels I think we're going to get of, especially if you've got a guy, a former NXT champion, as your TNA world champion, as I've got Macklin retaining of the replays from Against All Odds. Yes, SummerSlam, New Jersey. Yes, as I got a Macklin video package. Again, they're all fucking 40p. After the first 40 minutes of Dynamite, the show crashed and burned fast. It was a damn mess. Yeah, well, Dynamite, the first 2 hours of Dynamite, 7 to an 8. I'll give you that. The second half, not applicable applies because I don't want to be held accountable or responsible for what happened there because that was a crash and burn, and it's 2 weeks straight of that 4-hour format. Does not work for them. But I got Macklin out here giving us a State of the Union of it. Yeah, break time for Anthony. Excuse me. Tune out the main event. It's weird though because the main event was kind of the first match. That's the thing, is everything else, like importance wise, even just slid down a bit. We had the Big Nick session, which was more fun. What did I do, Anthony? That's more fun? I don't know. Don't accuse me of anything. What about Collision? Collision was fucking awful. I'm at least glad that I didn't have to click into a different stream to watch the show connected. But yeah, they very much still booked. They booked it like it was a 2-hour Dynamite and a 2-hour Collision instead of booking it like it was a 4-hour event. As I've got Mance Warner with Steph D. Lander coming out, and I enjoy all of this. I am excited. I'm almost glad that he's in TNA because Mance might be a little too much for WWE right now when he's, gigging himself and leaking like a fucking fountain. But Steph D. Lander, Mance Warner in TNA, they have future world champ written over it. Absolutely here. It is 10 times better than goddamn Alicia Edwards and Alicia and Eddie Edwards, as Mance having to get held back from fighting Camera Guy for whatever fucking reason because he was there. Yeah, no, Mance is super fantastic. I think he needs to. I don't know if he's too hardcore, too indie-ish right now for a WWE mainstream, as Mance and Tommy Dreamer going at it. Oh fuck, we're gonna get Mance versus Tommy Dreamer as we gonna suplex. Now, why didn't Tommy Dreamer? Tommy Dreamer's the guy that looks like he would be spitting up fucking strawberry marmalade instead of Kenny Omega after all of this. But no, Tommy's fine. Kenny's out there just raspberry jamming it. Big knee, Shining Wizard from Mance out here. So Mance Warner kicking the sugar on the iced tea out of Tommy Dreamer. Dream? What? Been get ready, okie dokie. TNA might need some better storylines quick. I don't think that they have an issue with storylines at all, RM. I think that they've got very much their image and their direction of where they're going. They are not going to be a WWE and AEW. They have their own storylines independent as we're setting up for the tag match. Is it there? It might not be there. But yes, no, we're setting up for the tag match between First Class and the Hardy Boys right now. But I'm in commercial break. But yeah, no, I don't have an issue with TNA storylines at all. They are independent to their own. I don't know if you would like to expound upon why you think that they're lacking in stories or their stories aren't working, what have you. But to say that, they aren't there, that they need to find some better ones, I digress. Dawson, Nick Mackin called out Aleister Black, knock on the door. Huh? I don't know if did Backlund actually call out Malachi? That would be a hell of a goddamn match, honestly. That's badass meets badass. And again, Macklin's the guy I think that could make that transition to WWE and would find a niche of he would add an edge. He does the hardcore stuff, but not over aggressively. Granted, I say this as we were here live when the man was stapling his fucking forehead back together. But yeah, I didn't hear or see to where Macklin called out Malachi, but I'd love to see that match. On top of that, the damn nerve of Tony Khan to give us Paragon as the main event 2 weeks in a row with an overrun. The audacity. Yes, no. That's the biggest thing, as to me, they booked it, and it's, do you book it of Swerve and Osprey at the midnight hour in the middle of the week and hope that it's got more than 300-400 viewers and everything? Again, you're doing it on a Wednesday, but at the same time, it was like he gave a shit about the first 2 hours and then just AI generated the last two. Of nothing was worth of note, nothing was memorable, nothing was of relevance. It was a 2-hour show that they made 4 hours, but as we're almost through the 2 hours of TNA, I will remind everybody: A, be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. We're back at it like a jackrabbit. For Friday Night SmackDown tomorrow night, we got the fallout from everything from Money in the Bank. We got the SmackDown answer to all of this. So what's going to be next? We've got more qualifiers for King and Queen of the Ring. Could a Hikaleo, could a Hickory Stega show up? And also, as Anthony's, I'm surprisingly been putting over absolutely of Wrestling Revolver, Cage of Horrors. We will be here for that live on Saturday as well. The first, I think, public booking of Priscilla Kelly sans Gigi Dolan taking on El Hubby there, Zachary Wentz, as well as Rages in the Cages. Tonga Leo, Tala Tonga. Macklin, one of the last pillars of TNA. I don't know if one of the last, but he's definitely a pillar. As I got Sammy Callahan out here, interrupted by EY. As EY is pointing out about who a Tricks champion of. No, we got to take the. I like this of though of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Paragon versus Callis family 2 weeks in a row sucks. Yes, it does. I think we'll be back unless McMahon buys it back. What? Oh, Moxley needs to write it. Moxley is just fucking Steven Seagal of pro wrestling. Anyone, honestly, by the way, that thinks that Vince McMahon is buying back WWE, I got a fucking lakeshore front in goddamn Alabama to sell you, in Egypt to fucking sell you. Because no. You can want to buy some things, but if they didn't want to sell it to you, that's a whole different discussion, first and foremost. Sammy kind of shaking off the EY advancement as EY advances and elbows this man in the face. So we're about to get EY and then True North taking on Sammy Callahan at some point here. Probably next week. Got that Big Nick and Anthony. Kevin has a question. I like how Kevin talks in a third person. Kevin can't just say, I have a question. Kevin has a question. But Kevin has a question. Do you think Jordan Grace could become a great NXT Women's Champion? Absolutely. Do I think that's going to happen? Debatable. I think that she may be not long for NXT. I think with the Evolve kind of elimination matches that we're going to have next week on NXT, she might lose to a Lola. Of Lola over. NXT needs some names out there. Stephanie Vacour, Worlds Collide. If Jordan Grace is going up to the main roster, does Jordan Grace maybe take too many L's to start off with it? But yeah, I very much could see her being an NXT Women's World Champion. Do I think it's a necessary thing that needs to happen right now? Debatable. As I got the first class coming up right now. So this must be your main event of the evening, folks. Oh, I for halfway thought that AJ Francis's attire was censored on the side. It's just that shit stretched so much that it looked blurred. But anyways, so we've got first class coming out here about to take on the Hardys of AJ Francis and Casey Navarro versus Matt and Jeff. Let me know who you're taking, folks. Who you got? I'm guessing they will drag out Cole versus Fletcher to All In. Fair. I watched the past 8 hours, and I'm still trying to fully make sure of how you got the connection there to Cole and Fletcher. Maybe, I mean, you got a bit of the Paragon and the Callis family. Maybe Fletcher exclusively. I wonder if Fletcher and Takeshita might go for the tag belts. The whole mid-card title scene when it comes to AEW is just a cluster of it. It should have been Punk versus MJF in Wembley, but a whole got his little face in the PLA. CM Punk was in a whole other company by that point, my guy. Respectfully, that was, I halfway see what you're saying, but by the time that ever got close, of CM Punk was all but gone. Yeah, well, no, actually, no, because it would have been Joe. It was Joe and Punk on the same show that was Adam Cole and MJF. Yeah, but all right. So now timeline, revisionist history. I'll give you that, but it's still, by that point, the ship had fucking sailed a bit. So revisionist history, it would have always been interesting to see. That's one of the best wasted feuds of AEW, I would say, is MJF versus CM Punk. But yeah, all right. But a man who's never wasted. Well, I might be, but that's a feud with me. Anthony, how you be?
I am good. Back in time for the main event, which I'm surprised this is the main event, but we'll see how it goes. We got the Hardys versus first class, Casey Navarro and AJ Francis.
Right. Yeah, so who you got us? We're already underway here. But I can see how it would be the main event. Maybe would have the 8-4-1 match been the main event of if you would have actually had it end in a one-on-one match like it should have, if the rules allowed it. But this is still, the Hardys will forever be the most over thing right now in TNA, especially just because of nostalgia.
Yeah, absolutely. Like the pops that they get are really astronomical at this point. They're really still big at their big age, if you want to say anything about it.
What do you mean big age? What do you mean by that? I'm out here doing the fucking, what do you mean by that?
Meaning that they're just old in a way.
Up there in age.
So I went back to make sure to look at the rules for the 8-4-1 match. The first ever 8-4-1 match. So I was definitely wrong. So apparently
you sold us a bill of goods.
I sold y'all a really good match, but apparently it is the 8-person tag team match, the fatal 4-way match, and then the one becomes the number one contender. 8-4-1. So I was definitely wrong. I do apologize, chat. Never listen to me about anything ever again.
No, this is just proof that we need to be in charge of TNA booking. We'll put us on the creative board here. I am in commercial break. I would be remiss if I did not ask you, how do you feel, Naomi, Women's Money in the Bank?
I was over the moon on Saturday. I was over the moon. Unpopular opinion. I didn't like the Money in the Bank match, the women's Money in the Bank match.
Really?
I thought it was I thought it was slow. I don't think it was clunky or anything like that. I just thought it was slow. And I think it's because I know Rhea Ripley has never been in a ladder match. I'm not sure about Stephanie and Julia, but I feel like it was three inexperienced women in a ladder match there. And then you had and Roxanne, and then you had
Mhm.
Naomi and Alexa, who has experience in ladder match. I just think it was the odds were kind of not there to actually have a really good stacked ladder match. But her winning was great. I think she was the only person that could win in that match unless you wanted to catapult one of the new women into superstardom by having them win and cash in the Money in the Bank successfully. Outside of that, I think Naomi was the perfect choice because she had the story, she had the character development, she had everything going for her in 2025.
If it was a Roxanne, if it was a Stephanie, if it was a Julia, would it have been too soon, too fast? Of the rocket gets too hot, it blows up because you're pushing it too much.
I, yeah, I think so because it was already teased on SmackDown that Julia is going after Zelina Vega.
Zelina,
Roxanne has her story with the Judgment Day now and Liv Morgan. Stephanie Valkyrie just came to the main. Well, they all just came to the main roster, but she hasn't really got into anything
she's the
just
newest
yet.
out of all of them. She's the newest by
She's the newest. So if anyone out of them could win it, it could have been Stephanie to catapult her, but too soon could be the case. Rhea just didn't need it. Rhea is Rhea. Like, Rhea can just call her. She's at the point in her career, I feel like when she wants a title match, just give it to her, right?
Was it
Um,
interesting that they had to like Andre her of like we'll just bury her? Like it was Kane, it was Taker, it was we got to take out the big monster of I must bury you in a fucking mountain of ladders before you can even get involved in this match.
right. That's kind of how it felt. They was like just put ladders on top of her and get her out of this match as quickly as possible.
But Naomi winning it, do you? And I was one of those that thought she should have won at WrestleMania. And then clearly, Jade won. Does this? How does she run this back? Does she cash in on a Tiffany? Does Bianca win the title and she cashes in there? Where do you see Naomi's payoff?
Um, she made a good point of cashing in on Tiffany because like she squared off with Tiffany a couple of times, or well, not squared off with Tiffany. I should say she was always in Nia Jax's corner when she faced Nia Jax for the women's title. So cashing in on Tiffany would be great. If she cashes in on Tiffany, she wins the title. She, has her rematch with Tiffany after, right? I think after that, you build towards potentially Bianca and Naomi just from the past couple of weeks when they had that, kind of face to face where Naomi was like, it wouldn't be great if you and your mama was in a wheelchair. Like it was like two stars right there. And I'm like, I immediately like put the title on one of them and have them feud for the title, right? So I don't know if they lead to Bianca versus Naomi, but we'll see. I also can see Naomi not cashing in right away too. I can see Naomi holding it for a bit.
Oh, I think so for sure. And if it becomes a Naomi Bianca thing, does Jade just get left out in the wind? Now, granted, Jade might get Charlotte at Evolve.
Yeah, I think we have that Jade and Charlotte moment at the all women's pay-per-view. I don't know if you push Jade out the way just yet because you could work it into a triple threat because we actually don't know where Jade stands with Bianca. We know where she stands with Naomi. We just don't know where she stands with Bianca. So they could work that into a triple threat, which you could have her win the Queen of the Ring tournament, and that guarantees her a spot, for the women's title.
We all the way around. But yeah, and I realized I called it Evolve instead of Evolution.
We know what you meant, Nick.
I'm just making sure I'm evolving past the caveman speech. If I can say multi-syllable words, but yes,
Ooh, that was
Naomi is doing amazing in the ring, wrestling promos and social media work. She's killing it. She's probably the most over women's wrestler on the roster right now.
She really is, and the media work she's doing is crazy too. She was on Busted Open this week, and Natalia had asked her who would she like to cash in on, and she was like, "Honestly, I would cash in on you because of what you did to me at SummerSlam some years ago." And that was when she took the title away from Naomi. So I'm like, she's just really out here, just doing the media work, the great media work possible.
Trinity Receipts Naomi, that's her name right now. Out there. Yes, she's keeping all the receipts as I've got Jeff Hardy and AJ Francis. And is this a submission or a seductive gesture?
It looks like it's a seductive gesture.
Yeah, hold me closer, AJ Francis.
But earlier, Casey Navarro kind of hit like a flying elbow through the middle rope there, which was pretty sick.
Well, wrestler rants. The Hardys are a national treasure, living legends walking. They inspired like everyone. I'm a bigger fellow and everything. I was out there on my trampoline trying to sit there and think I could hit a swanton bomb and everything because I was Jeff Hardy.
I did a trampoline one time, not to do anything wrestling related, but I got on the trampoline and I fell and I like hit my chin on the hardest part of the edge. And I said, yeah, we'll never be doing this again. I've never been on a trampoline since.
That was the highlight of my childhood of a little bit of, I had the trampoline and everything. So I was out there of hitting swantons and corkscrews and RKOs and everything, rock bottoms on all my siblings because you bounce and you've hit the greatest choke slam ever because you're coming down from the heavens.
We got Sean Reed down here saying these 2 hours have been better than the 4 hours last night. I didn't watch the whole 4 hours last night, but I'm sure Nick and KJ did. How would you feel? How would you rate it?
Well, it's so interesting because honestly, I would say this Twist of Fate. That's what that show was too, is Twist of Fate. Of the first 2 hours was so like I honestly would almost say the 2 hours that they've had in these 4-hour Dynamite AEW blocks has actually been really solid. Like I would still say 7 to an 8-ish minimum of been solid. The rest of it, and it's all downhill from here. It just falls off a fucking cliff.
Yeah.
I know I've even talked to KG about this, and I don't know how you might feel of watching the 8-hour kind of block of Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank moves quicker almost and feels a bit smoother and a little bit more palatable even than a 4-hour, 6-hour AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, Worlds Collide and then having Money in the Bank like a few hours later. I thought it was kind of a smooth transition. Worlds Collide was phenomenal. Wait, is that Trick? Yeah, that's Trick Williams.
Out here with the Bahama Mama. So is this not a disqualification?
Yeah, the match was just thrown out. They rang the bell.
And this is where we're going to say his name, and he appears.
There he goes.
Elijah.
I believe in Joe
Hendry. Well, you got Elijah and Joe Hendry. Is their tag team name song singing and guitar picking?
Yeah, you got everybody out here.
Oh,
Jeff Hardy looks like he's not moving. It's kind of scary.
Well, and now we've got the system out here, so all hell is breaking loose. My God, King! All hell is breaking loose out here. We got a calamity out here.
Yeah, the crowd is on. Everyone in the crowd is on their feet.
Chaos has broken out here in the Impact Zone, folks. So make sure you're here. next week when we're here live.
Oh shoot, Leon Slater is even out here. I
I
missed
didn't
when
even
he
realize
went
he
out.
got there. Yo, that's still so impressive. Anybody that hits that of like jumps over and clears the ring post.
Yeah, it's incredible when that happens.
It's so nice they had to play it twice. I'm stuck in a loop. Now we're end of the show, so that's the end of the show right there.
That was the end of the show.
I'm just literally in a loop of this man, up and over, up and over, up and over. But folks, that does TNA Impact Zone, and Leon Slater is all in the impacts.
Yeah, it looks like that is it. They end it right there. I think this sets up the 10-man tag team match that Santino was talking about earlier in the show next week, I think, but it felt like it was more than 10 men out there. So I don't know.
Well, and no, Nick mentioned it, and I think Santino kind of mentioned it, maybe made it official like a referee whistle of that Slammiversary. You're getting Moose versus Leon Slater for the X Division title. We're still starting to set up this. We saw tonight we assume we're going to probably get Killer Kelly versus Masha at Slammiversary. So, yeah, how are you feeling coming out of this? Despite all the technical glitches, and I almost don't mind of the fact that they went on. It's folks, the slobber knockers, the chaos is running so off. This man flipped and shut all the systems down out here. We got to end on replays.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised about tonight. I really enjoyed it. The 8-4-1 match, even though I was wrong, I enjoyed that Killer Kelly is the winner, and the tag team match part of that match was really fun. Even the Fatal 4-Way was. The main event, I like how it spiraled into chaos at the end. I think that kind of saved it right there. Everyone coming out just having a big brawl. Jason Hodge versus Leon Slater was really, really good. I enjoyed that. And then really good showing, even though it was local talent, even good showing by what are their names? The Inspiration.
Yeah. The Iconics.
I'm in the 7.5 range.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because so we had Santina. He started it off and everything.
Yeah.
He came out here. Good moment. Good Cobra. You like the Cobra. The Macklin. Now, some people mention this. Did you hear this? Did you catch this? Is this the chat blowing smoke in places they don't need to? Did Macklin call out Malachi Black? Aleister Black of knocking on doors.
I must have missed that. I don't know if I heard that, but I do know he has been vocal about being in WWE or showing up in WWE. So I wouldn't put it past the chat, but I didn't see it for myself. I actually stepped away from my entire computer and TNA when I took my pause.
Fair enough. Well, no, that 100% to me sounds fantastic. But yes, we have the first class, we have the penthouse of they even still end this, the penthouse out to the outhouse with this whole night. The Inspiration got that one. Yes, you mentioned Hotch versus Slater and Slater versus Moose. Does Slater end up X Division champion?
Yeah, Slater definitely ends up X Division champion. I wholeheartedly believe that is going down next week. I mean, not next week, but next up with Moose. Moose is losing that title to Leon Slater.
Right.
It has to.
We had the 8-4-1 match, which confused us all, but somehow still made sense to everybody. But Killer Kelly is your new number one contender. Absolutely. So you went 7. Straight 7?
7.5.
7.5. Okay. Sean Reed saying Slater, TNA champion. Puppet KJ just reminding everybody, hit like and subscribe. Absolutely. Be a friend. Tell a friend. And especially, again, it is June. It's men's mental health. It's Pride Month. It's 100%. It's just be nice to your fellow fucking human being. Be a friend. Tell a friend in more ways than one. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Williams wear high heels? What?
Is he talking about Trick wearing high heels? I don't know. I missed that.
I think he's just fucking tall. Like this guy made Mike Santana look short. You forget this man's a fucking former football player from South Carolina and everything. So yeah. But 7 out of 10, no overrun. They hard cut out of this. Hallelujah, praise Jesus.
Right.
17 minutes afterwards.
And it's their own app and it's their own channel, and they don't do overruns.
Oh, well, their app was already having issues of
exactly
frame rates and bit tearing. I was seeing punches move like I was watching fucking Thanos throw some shit. 10 out of 100. That's still a 10? All right. 8 out of 10. Vance is really vibrated. 10 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 10 out of 10. Puppet saying the stream 10 out of 10, show 7.5 out of 10. So he's agreeing with you.
It's a lot of high numbers that tonight.
8 out of 10. Well, I think everyone just kind of vibing at a high energy when it comes to pro wrestling. There's not a lot to be really mad at lately.
Yeah. Well, we haven't heard your rating. Where are you at?
Oh God, I was prolonging and pontificating all of that, but 8 and a half. Wow. 8. I'll stay on at 8. I like what's going on with TNA and everything. I think that they found their nice little niche, their identity, and everything like that. They found their pocket. They can lean enough this way, but still lean enough this way. Like I mentioned, I don't know if you might have still been on your pause when Mance Warner came out. He's to me a guy who might go too far, might end up like a Briscoe in AEW. In WWE, he'd be neutered and spayed, Bob Barker. Yeah. But him in TNA, you can still have him have a bit of that edge. You can have a Monsters Ball. You can have him versus Sami Callihan, but he could still be a guy who's your world champ.
True. Yeah, you definitely hit the nail on the head there. So I'm surprised that you're 8. I don't know why. I'm surprised that you're 8. Now I kind of want to give it an 8. I feel bad for giving it a 7.
How am I? You're the TNA guy, and I'm the one out here giving it praises.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna change my rating and give it an 8. I'm gonna be with Nick.
I done twisted his arm, folks.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with an 8. I'm gonna change it here.
Cross-faced chicken wings. So we're official, like a referee whistle. Anthony has to watch Austin Powers, and TNA tonight was an 8 out of 10. Yeah, see, I heard it's time for Austin Powers now, folks. Stay tuned to your local TBS broadcasting. You might be able to see catch a replay of either Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Gold Member, what have you. Yeah,
absolutely. Austin Powers on TBS.
8 out of 10. Well, that was always my guy. Trust me. Were you of the age of like when you would record a movie on a VHS? Because I'm not buying the copy. I will record it when it's on HBO.
Yes, I am.
I will have commercials.
I remember the first thing I recorded on VHS because we had the TV in my childhood bedroom. We had the TV where the VCR was in the TV. So the thing I remember recording was, this is gonna be funny, it was an episode of That's So Raven on VHR.
That's so Raven. I can see. I trust me, I've been there, my guy. I had VHS tapes of wrestling through the wazoo of literally having to flip through of, no, I can watch it on this show because I'm taping that channel and everything. But Nick saying an 8 out of 10 show for me tonight. It was a solid show. Loved the 8-4-1 match. The best was that match of the night. I
think so. I really enjoyed it. I think that's the best match of the night, and then you can put Jason Hotch versus Leon Slater as the second best match. I'm starting to lean more heavily towards the 8. I don't know why I gave it a 7.5. I'm starting to lean more towards the 8.
I'm twisting an arm. I'm locking in, folks. Right now, I got this shit synced in of the getting crossface chicken wing. I'm Bob Backlund. But yes, we're saying goodnight to the peoples. Do you have anything you need to get off your wrestling chest, my guy?
No, we talked about Naomi. We talked about Jey Uso losing the title. We watched TNA, which I always love. So I think I'm good with tonight.
Goldberg.
Is that even worth
Atlanta might be Goldberg Central.
Yeah, I heard that his retirement match could be at Saturday Night Main Event. Will I be there? No, because I'm only attending Evolution.
Well, that's also a big question, though, too. Of Atlanta's become the hot spot for this month of pro wrestling. You become a battleground. You become a bit of the counter booking culture.
Yeah, Atlanta is hot that weekend of Evolution. We have Saturday Night Main Event, Evolution, Great American Bash, NXT Great American Bash, and Beyonce is down the street at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium or whatever they call it. So yeah, we have
Monet just do her dance outside of the stadium because she's the Beyonce of wrestling.
Exactly, and then it's all in that weekend in Texas. So it's a lot happening that weekend.
Right. Welcome to Atlanta where the players play, and God bless Texas with his own hands. But bless you all. Thank you all for being here. I don't know if you have anything else you need to speak with the pieces, but yeah.
No, I'll just I'll let you take it out, but I'll just say we are back tomorrow for SmackDown. We are here Saturday for Wrestling Revolver Cage of Horrors, and then it all starts again on Monday with Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, the man that was even here and is part of the channel, we already sold him to buy a Fight Plus subscription. So 100%, folks. Yes, be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, subscribe. Our shit is real, our shit is raw, our shit is authentic. When you talk about that rest, you're going to put that for live with it.
We'll see you in the next stream.